Hello and welcome to this Tuesday's Technique Tuesday, and I'm going to be looking at watercolour ink today. Now these are particular ones are made by Cosmic Shimmer and they come in two different varieties. So you've just got your watercolour ink, which is just the ink, and then you have the pearlescent one, which has these lots of loveliness inside the bottle, and you need to shake to wake it up. So this is the one that doesn't have it, and this is the one that does. So if you've got the pearlescent version, you're going to need to shake it and mix it up before you use it. Now the beauty with these is that they come with this little stopper here, so you push it a couple of times and it then loads up the dropper on the inside. And you might think this is a small bottle, but it's going to go a long way. The first technique that I'm going to show you is going to create marbled backgrounds. So here's one that I've done earlier, and I am hoping you can see that you've got this pearlescent sparkle that shows up. So I've got a tub left over from some packaging from the supermarket, and it's all cleaned up, but it's a nice size that my pieces of card will fit in. And I filled it with shaving foam. So it's just a fairly cheap £1.50 a tub shaving foam. And so now I'm going to wake up my inks and I'm going to drop them down. So this one I'm using is the green spruce, or spruce green rather. So I'm pushing the top to pick up the ink, and I'm just going to drop it across my shaving foam. So maybe a dot there. And then I'm going to take my red. This one is Red Sunset. Oh, you get a bit of exercise shaking these. So pull the ink up into the stopper, and then I'm just going to drop this around. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to run my stick through to create a feathered effect, just to move around the ink. So I think that's probably going to be okay. I just think whether we can nudge any into that area there. Just add some more. I'll stick some over there while I'm at it. Okay. So you can sort of build up your colour as you're going along. And you don't want to over stir it, because you're going to then start blending the colours together and you're not going to get the same effect. So here's my piece of card. I'm just going to pop it in and push it down onto the shaving foam, just gently, like that. And I'm going to pull it up. I'm just going to pop it in between some kitchen towel, just to get rid of some of the shaving foam. We've got quite a bit on here. And then I'm going to use a straight edge, and I'm just going to pull the shaving foam up and off the card, and that will reveal your pattern. I'm just pulling the shaving foam off gently, and you can see that you've got this lovely, you've got an area here, so you could go back and redo it again a second time to add more to the areas that you've missed. You could then do it more times, add in more colour, and I'm hoping you can see the pearlescent shining through. So that's the first technique, and it's really something that you need to play with. The other thing I would suggest is not throwing away your kitchen towel. So some of these that I've been cleaning with, so this one here, look, in particular, it's picked up all the glittery micro in the inks, and that glued to a piece of card would make a lovely background. So I don't tend to throw anything away. So the other technique that I've been playing with is stenciling with it. So let me just move those out of the way. So I've got a couple of methods here. So I've got this, I'm going to do, the star seemed to work really well. So let me, so again, I've I don't throw anything away. This is the packaging off of one of the dies, and makes a perfect palette for putting your inks in. So so I haven't thrown it away, and it's just brilliant because it's got this edge to it that then keeps your paints where you want them to be without spilling them. So this time I'm going to use the rainy sky. So I'm going to do a drop. So I've got my sponge, and I'm just going to pull off some of the ink, and I'm just going to dab it round, and I'm being quite liberal with this. So I'm taking it further onto the stencil than I really need. So then I'm going to take another piece, I'm going to put it on top, press it down, and so you're going to get a reverse of your stencil. So let's take that. So for one stencil and one use, you get a couple of images, which I think this one here has worked really well. This one's not quite, so I think maybe I need to be a little bit more gentle with my sponging. But I really like this effect because it's picked up the edge of the stencil really nicely. So I think that's definitely something that can be played with. And this stencil also has a die. It's one of the new releases for Christmas this year. And it has a die that you can then cut out the star with. So, and then lift it up so it comes away. So, and then if you wanted to, you could try it a second time. So there's still going to be some of the paint on the stencil. It's not going to be quite as bright as this one, but you still get the idea that it's a star, and you get that nice shading around the edge. So that's another way of using it. So the last method I'm going to show you is that you can use these as an ink for rubber stamping. So I've got this very nice rubber stamp designed by Francois Reed, and so I'm going to line up my piece of card there. Now normally I have magnets, but I've put them somewhere safe, so I'm just going to use some low-tack tape. Now just bear in mind, this method using this ink isn't going to be as crisp as if you used an ink pad. So I'm going to pull in my palette, and let's go for a nice bright colour. Let's go for red. Actually, let's use that's the pink. So I'm going to put some ink down. That's it. And then I'm going to use my sponge to pick it up. So I've got quite a bit on there. So you could use this just to colour in a background, but if you want to use it on rubber stamps, I'm going to take some glycerine, which you can find in the supermarket in the baking aisle. Just going to take a little bit. So, and then if you put that into your ink pad that you've just inked up through the glycerin, it turns your ink into a rubber stamping ink pad. So I'm just going to stencil over or push down onto my rubber stamp. I'm hoping you can see. So this is quite a lot runnier than a normal rubber stamp. So you will tend to pick up on the, it won't be as crisp. So I'll probably put too much on there. Okay, let's see what happens. I think also it has a lot to do with what rubber stamp you use as well. So this is quite a grungy type of stamp. So it's and it's very busy. So there's quite a lot of fine detail, but you can see the and you can read that that's Paris and garden, and you've got the stamps. So it's a lovely effect. It's sort of watercolory, and then once you've done one, you can then, let's see if I put that in the right, that's close enough. You can then do a second one, and obviously this one's going to be slightly paler, but sort of as a background. You can use it for backgrounds, and that would then look really nice. So you could then stamp out the rubber stamp on with an ink pad and make it a bit more slick than this one, because this one does have that watercolory effect. There's plenty of other things that you can do with these watercolor inks, but hopefully that's given you a couple of techniques that you can take away and play with, and start creating your own wonderful backgrounds. Have fun creating. Bye.